Hello, who am I and what do I do? Well, I'm Anna Gillespie and most of my work is in stained glass. I make small panels which you can hang against the window, for instance this sort of size, and then I make larger work to commission. I really like doing commissions, firstly because it enables me to do larger work, and secondly because it's made for a particular place, particular space and light, and it's made for particular people, and it's although it takes some sort of twists and turns in the journey, it's really satisfying to make some glass that people are going to enjoy living with, hopefully for the rest of their days. So I also do some work in fused glass, which I use to incorporate my drawings. Drawing is an important part of what I do, and I like to use drawing as part of observing and understanding what it is I'm drawing. So if it's a plant, I want to look really closely and see how it's structured, see how it's made, and once you've drawn something, you don't forget that, and that's kind of in your memory bank. So please look at my Artweeks 2020 studio tour to see the range of work that I've been doing, and you can also look at my website, which includes my linocut prints as well. So I also teach here in the studio. I can teach 1-to-1 and 1-to-2. I can't teach more than that because it's quite small. And I've got a range of little workshops people can come and do for a day or two. And then when people have done the introduction, they can come back to me with personal work they want to do, and I can provide support and the space and materials they're going to need to do it. So what am I inspired by? Well, for me it starts with the glass itself. It is such a beautiful material. There's such a range available. I'm not one who just uses one particular range of glass. I love a variety. I love the textures that you can get, the crackle, the seeds, and the reamy glasses are particularly beautiful, I think. And you've got a full gamut of colour, and that's where the colour comes from in my version of stained glass. I like the process of it. Stained glass is not for people who want a quick result. There's about 8 stages to it, and I like that. I like the process that you go through, from design to cutting to painting to firing to assembling, leading, soldering, cementing and cleaning and blacking the lead. So there's lots and lots of stages to it, but I think it's like cooking a really good slow meal. It's more satisfying perhaps than fast food. I like the tools. So for instance, this is the lead knife, and it's beautifully made. It's got a curved, irregular sort of curved blade there that does the job that you need to do, rocking down through the lead. It's heavy. It's got a weighted end here which you can use as a hammer to drive in the nails, and the nails are horseshoe nails. This all feels very ancient and solid and good. So that's an example of the kind of tools that I enjoy. Then of course I'm inspired by glass, stained glass. So medieval stained glass. I had a bit of an experience in Chartres Cathedral a while back. Here is a postcard that I still have pinned up of one of the beautiful long windows in Chartres. My impression, I think, was of blue and red. And then within that kind of sensory pleasure of all the colours is narrative. This window was donated by the Guild of Bread Makers, and down at the bottom are 2 men carrying a huge basket of round bread, and that narrative is also appealing to me in an illustrative kind of way, and of course that was the point of stained glass, was to teach the lessons of the church to people who couldn't read. I spend quite a bit of time poking in and out of churches and cathedrals. I've got a lovely book of churches in Oxfordshire, and that I use on our walks. I'm also influenced by the arts and crafts movement, and my own work can be described as sort of contemporary arts and crafts. Another great source of inspiration is the natural world and my garden, the plants that are growing in it, the changing weather, and walking, everything that I see on walking, everything that I hear as well. I did a series last year, I think, involving the swifts, which come to Chowbury this time every year. Another influence on me is 20th century printmaking. I very much enjoy the wood engravings and wood cuts, and so I enjoy work by people like Gwen Ravarat and another person called Gertrude Herms, who I enjoy looking at. So they're working in black and black and white really interests me, and that's why I think I find stained glass so fascinating, because I work in black or dark browns on the colour of the glass. So I've got the colour and the black and white, but I'm not a painter in a painterly colour sense. I really enjoy line and tone. So stained glass really has turned out to be my thing. So this year, 2020, I've been working on the Glime Lane Allotment Project, which is a project led by Judith Yarrow and Crappy Taylor, and it's all around some allotments on the edge of Chipping Norton, which have been threatened by a housing development and a ring road. And the project involves a number of artists and a poet and a sound recordist, and it's showing the value of these quite historic allotments. And so here's an example of a portrait of a shed, which I've enjoyed making. And then I made an overall panel showing the whole landscape up there. And there was to be an exhibition of that this month, but that's been postponed. But it will happen in the autumn, I do hope. And then since the coronavirus lockdown, I made some more garden panels for this garden, and they're part of my studio and garden tour. They are currently looking very nice in this garden, but will look even nicer in yours, I might suggest. And also at the moment, it is a strange situation that we're all in, and I find that I've been writing poetry, which I haven't really done before. I'm doing some pieces on the theme of breath, and I've been sending them out to a trusted team of about 12 people who send back comments on them. So it feels quite an important part of my work at the moment. And what I hope for my next project is perhaps to explore that same theme of breath in collage and print and glass. See if I can pull it together into what you would call a body of work. See if I can pull it together. I want to use this time well. Try to see the positives of this difficult time. So, I do wish that I could have welcomed you personally into my studio for Artweeks. I hope that I may be able to open later this year, perhaps in November. And who knows, I might be publishing some small books of poetry. Thank you very, very much for watching. Bye-bye.